You feel it right now, sometimes. The small prickle on the back of your neck. The certainty that someone is looking at you when the room is empty. The reflex to turn your head even though you know there's nobody there. Almost every human on Earth has experienced this. And almost every human on Earth has done the same thing about it. Dismissed it, told themselves it was paranoia, told themselves it was in their head, told themselves it was nothing. It isn't nothing. Your body has been running a specialized survival system for millions of years, designed specifically to detect when eyes are on you. It operates below your awareness. It doesn't ask your permission to fire. And when it goes off in an empty room, it isn't broken. It's doing exactly what it was built to do. The reason you have this system at all is one of the strangest survival stories in the human body, and it starts with a very old fact about what used to hunt us. For most of human history, we were not the top of the food chain. We were medium-sized primates who spent hundreds of thousands of years being hunted by animals with sharper senses, better night vision, and more efficient bodies than ours. Leopards, lions, ancient wolves, hyenas, bears, even large birds of prey. Every one of these predators had one thing in common. Before they attacked, they watched, they stalked, they positioned, they observed. Some of them, like leopards, will watch a target for hours from complete concealment before making a single move. Your ancestors who could sense that stare, who could feel the invisible weight of eyes on them from the tree line or from behind or from a distance, were significantly more likely to survive. The ones who couldn't sense it or ignored it often didn't. And this created something remarkable inside the human brain, an entire region of tissue devoted to a single specific job: detecting gaze. If you place your finger just behind and above your right ear, you are roughly touching a part of your brain called the superior temporal sulcus. Most people have never heard of it, but researchers have now mapped this region in astonishing detail, and its function is stunning. The superior temporal sulcus is responsible for detecting eyes, not just any part of a face, eyes specifically, whether they are open, which direction they are looking, whether that direction is toward you. This region fires whenever a face is present. It fires even faster when the face is looking at you. It fires so quickly that its response occurs before you consciously realize you've been seen. And here is the part that changes everything. The superior temporal sulcus is biased. When conditions are ambiguous, when a face is turned only slightly, when the light is poor, when the eyes are partially hidden, this brain region defaults to assuming you are being looked at, not the opposite. In 2013, Colin Clifford at the University of New South Wales in Sydney published a landmark study showing this in stunning clarity. When human participants were shown faces with uncertain gaze direction, they consistently reported that the eyes were looking straight at them, even when the eyes were slightly averted. The default assumption of your brain in every uncertain moment is that you are being watched. This is not a flaw. It is a survival strategy. For a prey species, the cost of falsely believing you are being watched is small. You get a jolt of alertness. Your heart rate rises. You turn your head. Nothing happens. The cost of falsely believing you are not being watched is potentially your life. Over millions of years of evolution, the animals whose brains erred on the side of, yes, someone is watching, survived and reproduced more often than the ones whose brains erred on the side of, no, you're fine. You are the descendant of the paranoid ones. Which brings us to the strangest part of this whole story. Because there is a well-documented phenomenon in the psychology literature called scopaesthesia, the sense of being stared at. Studies going back to the 1980s and repeated many times since have shown that under controlled conditions, humans can sometimes correctly identify when they are being watched from behind, even without any conscious sensory information available to them. The scientific community remains split on whether this represents a genuine perceptual ability or a very sensitive pattern recognition system that draws on subtle cues most people don't notice. Microshadows in peripheral vision, faint auditory reflections, air pressure changes, room resonance shifts caused by another body's presence. Your brain processes all of these signals constantly, below your awareness, and compiles them into a single output. Sometimes that output is a feeling, a prickle, a shift, a quiet certainty that you are not alone. Whether the mechanism is fully understood or not, the phenomenon itself has been confirmed enough times that most cognitive scientists no longer dismiss it out of hand. Something is happening. Your body is telling you something. And most of the time, whatever it is telling you is at least partly correct, even when the specific "someone is watching me" interpretation is wrong. Which brings us to the modern version of this whole system. Because your brain doesn't know it's living in a world where predators have mostly been replaced by strangers, screens, and cameras, it is running the exact same detection software it ran when your ancestors were hunted through forests and savannas by animals with better eyes than theirs. And that software fires in modern situations it was never designed for. The moment you walk past a mirror you didn't know was there. The moment you enter an empty room where someone was standing 5 minutes ago. The moment you're being filmed and don't consciously realize it. The moment you turn a corner into a place where photographs are watching you from a wall. The moment you stand in a museum surrounded by portrait paintings whose eyes appear to follow you across the room. Each of these situations triggers the same ancient gaze detection system that once told your ancestors a leopard was in the underbrush. Sometimes the system fires with almost no cause at all, just a subtle atmospheric shift that your conscious mind ignores, but your ancient brain interprets as presence. And here's what almost nobody realizes about this feeling. It is not, strictly speaking, a feeling of paranoia. It is a feeling of noticing. Your body noticed something you consciously did not, something that, in an ancestral environment, mattered enough to preserve as a hardwired reflex across millions of years. The feeling isn't the problem. The feeling is the report. Which brings us back to the beginning. The next time you're alone in a room and the sensation returns, the small prickle, the certainty that eyes are on you, the reflex to turn your head. Remember what that feeling actually is. It is not paranoia. It is not superstition. It is not you being dramatic. It is the oldest surveillance system in your body, doing exactly what it was built to do, hundreds of thousands of years after the eyes that shaped it stopped watching. Your ancestors trusted this system. You're descended from the ones who did. And every time it fires in an empty room, it is quietly reminding you of something you were never meant to forget. That someone, somewhere in your evolutionary past, was always watching. And your body has never really stopped listening for them.